Welcome to Stitcher's Flock. This is a special video in conjunction with myself for my booktube channel, but it pertains directly to cross stitch and the crafting that we all love. So I thought I would share it on this channel as well, and introduce you guys to a new author who I love, who gave me the idea for this video, and share my love of my family, the importance of handcrafting, and some needlework. So I hope you enjoy. Welcome to Stitcher's Flock. This is a special video in conjunction with myself for my booktube channel, but it pertains directly to cross stitch and the crafting that we all love. So I thought I would share it on this channel as well, and introduce you guys to a new author who I love, who gave me the idea for this video, and share my love of my family, the importance of handcrafting, and some needlework. So I hope you enjoy. Okay, Bird has been relocated downstairs. So back to the conversation. I made a comment on Rhonda's post, and I will link it down below. And this is the book she was referencing. Cannot recall the name of it to save my life at the moment. I apologize, Rhonda. And she gave me the idea for this video, and I'm very glad she did, because it's very me. It combines the two things I love in life, and it's a very visual reminder of the importance of both things. So Rhonda is the writer of the Molly Chase series. The first book is In Pieces. The second book is Adrift. I will link my reviews for both of these books in the description box down below. These are historical fiction. They are set in 1793. I say that and my brain is telling me that's the wrong date. Boston, and so post-Revolutionary War America. Yeah, 1793 is right. And they are fabulous. Rhonda has a channel on YouTube. I will link it in the description box as well. And she reads samples from the books, and they are fabulous. And the first chapter of In Pieces will grab you and not let go. These are full of emotions and political intrigue and family and romance to some extent, and just they're absolutely just wonderful books. So the reason for this video is Rhonda suggested I talk about the difference between something that is handcrafted versus machine crafted. And machine crafted is much more common these days, unfortunately, and it is easy and cheap to replicate, and it all looks identical, and there is no deviation. Versus handcrafted, which usually has a mistake, at least one, and no one else in the world may ever know, but the person who did it certainly does, even if they can't find it in the finished product. It has a history that spans 1,000 plus years, 2,000 plus years. The story of William the Conqueror is told in the Bayeux Tapestry, and that was stitched by women. And the ability, and stitching obviously goes back much further than the Bayeux Tapestry. And stitching in particular is considered a woman's craft, even though men do it all the time these days. And I find it very condescending when the course of discussion tends to indicate that women are left out of history, or women have no part in it, and the story is only told by men. That is not true. And how do we know this? Through textiles. Sewing, needlepoint, embroidery, cross-stitch, knitting, crochet, all the things were always considered women's work. And who do you think designed those patterns? And who do you think stitched those patterns? And who told those stories that went into those pieces? Women. So women are not forgotten. They do not sit on the sidelines of history and simply let men tell the story. That has never been true. It is certainly not the representation of history we have in physical format. And unfortunately, like many things that we do by hand, be it cursive handwriting or learning to sew or candle making or cross stitch, aren't being passed on to current and future generations. And the world is losing something valuable and important and necessary. The ability to sew, and I mean more than just sew on a button, is what drove civilization forward. If you couldn't figure out how to sew together two pieces of fur to stay warm, you didn't survive. And we're losing that, and that is scary. It is scary. So today I thought I would share some family pieces. They're mostly from my family. We have very little from Dave's. But what we do have from Dave's is beautiful. And we need to get it framed this year because it's starting to take some damage. But I'll show you that in a minute. So, first up would be the quilt my great-grandmother, may God rest her soul. I'm not sure if this is crochet or knit. I don't do either one of those. I'm pretty sure it's crochet. Yeah, I'm positive it's crochet. Made for me when I was young. I think I got this when I was 10 or 11, so it's 4 decades old, if not older. And I still have it, and it still sits in my closet. And every time I come across it or I pack it because we move, I think of her and it makes me smile. And does it get a lot of use these days? No. Am I ever going to get rid of it? No. It's a piece of her. Therefore, it's a piece of me. Why would I ever get rid of it? So here's a small portion of it. I've used this since I got it. It's twin size, so there's no twin mattresses in our house anymore. But I love this, and it's part of her, and it's irreplaceable. She stitched this for me because she loved me. She didn't go to the store and buy a blanket. She put a part of herself into each stitch. So, it's beautiful. Next up is a piece from Dave's great-grandmother. I know nothing more about this piece than that. It was handed down to us in the condition in which we find it today. I need to get it framed. It is very tight on this piece of, it's cotton. I don't know if you can see the whole thing, but it is beautiful. It's amazing. Some of the threads are starting to pull, but you know, his great-grandmother stitched this. His mother didn't. That's all we have of his family. It's beautiful, and the colors will go in our house nicely. And she did a fabulous job, and it's incredibly meticulous. And I want to preserve this piece of his history. It's, you know, I don't know the story behind it. I don't know that he knows the story behind it. His parents have both passed away. They weren't forthcoming with details when they were alive. So, what we are left with is a stitched piece of fabric and no backstory. I will take the stitched piece of fabric with no backstory because it's better than nothing, but it's very sad at the same time. So, next up is the stuff from my mom. And my mom has a much broader skill set than me. She needle points, or she did. She now has macular degeneration, and so she can't do much anymore. She needle pointed, she embroidered, she knits, she crocheted. And I don't do any of those things. But she also doesn't cross stitch, and I do, so that's okay. And this is just one example from her. In the house, we have many blankets she has crocheted. In fact, last year, she crocheted a huge blanket for me and a huge blanket for Dave. And by huge, I mean they're 13 by 13 feet. And it's the year of our birth. And they're massive, and they probably weigh 20 pounds a piece. Needless to say, I didn't dig those out today. She stitched many pieces for us for the walls. We have flamingos from our marriage. We have, I have Holly Hobby from when I was a kid. I have bears. So, you know, I have a piece from when I graduated from graduate school. There's a wide variety. But for today, I picked this one. It sits on our mantle. It's a serving tray. It is a collection of 4 crosses. And this was when we moved out of our house in Arizona and into the RV and traveled for 3 years. We obviously took everything my mother did for us and for me. But this one is the only one that we displayed the entire time we were traveling. And as you can tell, the Velcro tabs are still on the back. It's a memento of that. So it's always been important. And again, it's not something I can fathom ever parting with. It's part of me. It is part of my mother. So, those are some family pieces. And now, oh, let me set that down. Okay. So everything else is a work in progress. for me, or by me, 4 other people, with the exception of 2 of the 3 pieces today. So, okay, so mail's been delivered, so the girls should quiet down. We're going to talk about what I'm currently stitching and why it's meaningful to me in particular. So first up is going to be the Pretty in Pink pattern from the Crossed Wing Collection series. This is the pattern. It is stitched on the called for fabric, which was dyed by Crossed Wing Collection. And it is a, let me see if it's in here. It is not in here. I believe it's a 28 count even weave. Doesn't look like linen. Yeah, it's an even weave. And I will show you all the pattern before, or all the fabric before I. And I am doing my own colors. And the reason this one is important to us, it's going to be for our anniversary, and we got married at the Flamingo. It was a destination wedding at the time. We were living back east, and weddings are stupid expensive. They are stupid expensive. So we went out west and made a compromise everyone could live with and got married at the Flamingo. So, and this is where I'm currently at. Woo! This is where I'm currently at. There has been no progress since you last saw this. However, our 20th wedding anniversary is this year. I'm trying to get this done for that. So Tammy needs to start putting in at least the length of thread every couple of days, if not more, and make some progress. But while this may not be like some of the other pieces here, this one is just for Dave and I, and it will mean something to us. It will hang in our bedroom, and I've loved flamingos all of my life, and stitching on this is just a joy. So look forward to seeing more progress as the year progresses. So next up is one of those legacy pieces, as Samantha over at the Hoogie Stitcher, I will link her down below, talks about, and that is Liberty Angel and this is patterned or charted by Leisure Arts. And like I have said before, I have been working on this since I was in college. A very, very long time. We're not going to discuss how long. And I've made some progress since you've last seen it. Not a lot, probably not discernible. I will put a picture right here of last time. And the reason this one has come out for this particular video is because I have been working on this for so long, and this will drive a lot of stitchers crazy, and I apologize, but it does not drive me crazy at all. And it's easy to discern because it's on dark fabric. Is that it is, there you go, filled with, not filled, but interwoven in the threads and on the fabric. It's more so on this side too. Is the occasional strand of pet hair. And the reason why that doesn't bother me is most of them are no longer with us. And yet, they still are, because they're interwoven in the stitches in this piece. And they will always be there because they got stitched in. And I don't mind that. I don't mind that the dogs and cats I have loved before are still with me in needlework that has carried on far longer than it should have. I have every intention of doing my best to finish this year. And if I don't finish it by the end of the year, which is less than a month away now, I will finish it early in 2023. One of the other pieces I have to finish early in 2024. One of the other pieces I have to finish in 2024. Has to be finished by June at the very, very, very latest. So these two are in competition, but there's not a lot to do on this one, and the other piece isn't huge. So this one is hard to get all in frame. So this is where it is currently at. Minus back stitching, the bottom is complete. Now we just have to finish the top, or I just have to finish what's missing at the top, and there's not a lot. It is just a matter of me making the time, putting on an audiobook, and stitching. Not something that's difficult. It's just been a little challenging trying to get all the Bookmas content up. So, it will be picked up this week, and at least every couple of days from here on out until it is complete. So the last piece for today is the piece I'm currently stitching for friends who just found out they are having their first child next year. And I am very happy to be stitching this. I have stitched it once before for friends who were having their first child. I stitched it when I was in grad school, so a very long time ago. I will say there is a definite problem with this pattern. So first, the pattern. I bought this off of 123 Stitch. It is not a reflection on where I bought the pattern, because I bought it from a completely legitimate company. That is Guardian Angel. This was a Janlin kit. I substituted my own fabric. I don't remember this piece being published by Janlin when I did it the first time. I remember it being published by Leisure Arts. My memory could be faulty. However, this is the fabric I've chosen. It is 25 count. It is 25 count. 28 count Blueberry Lagana from Crosswing Collection. It is beautiful fabric. It is perfect for this piece. I've had this holy card my entire life. I am changing some parts to match the recipient. Like her hair will be black, her skin tone will be different. But here's where I'm currently at. And right now, there are so many issues with this. This will not look like this the next time you see it. I am frogging all of the pink. I am frogging all of this as well. This pattern is a mess. How it is charted is a mess. The symbols are difficult to read. It is charted in color. It has confetti stitching that serves no purpose. Symbols look so similar that it is very easy to stitch the wrong color and then frogging out what I am very, very unhappy with, substituting my own colors to fix the problems I see, and to get rid of some of the unnecessary confetti stitching. I am not going to confetti stitch. Wait. The wings are all confetti stitches, and there's almost no color differentiation between the colors they chose, other than it's ever so slightly different. And I am not going to do that. There's almost no back stitching in the wings to even delineate, you know, feathering. It's very frustrating. I have new thread coming to help fix the issues, and it's a problem. However, it's a problem that can be solved. So next time you see this pattern, it will look different, and there will be, you know, new and better progress than, you know, that incredibly bright pink, which doesn't match what it actually looks like on the Holy card. So, yeah, Tammy's a little frustrated with this one. So, I have two versions of the prayer card. I probably have more, to be honest. I have the modern version, and I have the version that's been in my Mass Missal I've had since my first Holy Communion back in 1975. And so this is my original, and this is the modern, and they're the same and they're not. They're not. I have a definite preference. That's going to be very obvious here in a minute. So, I can't remember if I showed you the pattern. This is the pattern. It's not going to be a difficult stitch. I have stitched this before for another couple who was having their first child. I stitched it back in grad school. At the end of grad school, as you know, we were taking finals and studying for our profession exam, and that stitched up quickly and easily, and it wasn't a problem. This one, however, is a problem. I am changing it up because I do not like the way it is stitching. So this is where it currently is. It will not look like this when I'm done. So I am changing up the hair and the skin tones to match the family that is getting it for their child, and I'm fine with that. My problem is that you probably can't even see this on screen. There is so many color changes that make no sense in her dress and do not match the prayer card I grew up with. So I am changing the colors to fit this versus this. Would either be acceptable? Absolutely. Do I have a preference? Absolutely. Will I make every effort when we gift this to find this version of the prayer card to gift with it? Yes. Will I settle for this one? Yes. But it's not my choice. This is one of those highly personal stitches that will hopefully follow said child throughout their life, and is something they can pass on to their children, and it's easy to adapt patterns to fit for whom you're stitching, and it makes for a much more personalized final product than something you could go out and purchase that, you know, wouldn't be so personalized. It wouldn't be so meaningful. So that is just So that is just a broad overview of some examples in our house that we see every day, that I'm stitching, that have been meaningful for us, that stretch back generations. And I think they're important. And I think we're losing that as a society. And I think that that loss of skill and craft and love letter to the future is beyond sad. It's tragic. And it's irreparable harm. The inability to sew, the inability to tell a story through artistic medium, done by hand, is what makes us human. It's what differentiates us from everything else. And we all don't have the same artistic gifts. We all have different artistic gifts. But if you make something by hand, or you cook something, or you write a love letter, that is much more meaningful than something you run out to the store, pick up, wrap up, and deliver. At least it is for me. So I've hoped you have liked this video. I hope you've gotten a glimpse into our life. Please pick up Rhonda's books and read them. They are wonderful. I am very much looking forward to Molly Chase number 3 this year in 2024. And please leave a comment down below, like and subscribe, and I will see you here next time.